Good morning. Obviously excited to get to this stretch of the schedule, getting to the trophy games, and to me, rivalries are such a huge part of college football. It's always an exciting thing to be a part of, and we're going down to play Iowa, who's playing very well right now, and it's going to be a fun one. I always love playing at their place. Great atmosphere, and we know what they're about. They know what we're about, so it's going to be a really exciting day.
Yes.
When you put the tape on of the game on Saturday, what stood out to you about the 5 offensive linemen that you had starting? Do you think that group collectively can kind of play to the level that people have expected?
Yeah, I think overall the physicality, you felt their presence. It was still week one with that combination together, so there's things that they want to clean up. We need to play better in certain areas, but to me, you just saw the physicality of that group. We love that combination of guys, and hopefully we're able to now build going into the last stretch of the season with that group staying healthy. But that was the number one thing, and once again, you add the tight end group getting a little bit more healthy, the fullbacks kind of using both of them to stay fresh. Just the physicality overall up front is what we needed on game day and in situations where you really had to run the football to have success.
Jim, where have you seen Jordan Turner maybe elevate his game in the last few weeks? Because it seems like not only his snap counts, how much he's out there, but just his overall impact continues to decline here later in the season.
Overall consistency. He flashed all the time. He had done that early in his career, and I think just the consistency that he's playing with right now, how he's finishing plays, just contact balance, getting on and off of blocks, how he's tackling running backs, knocking things back, and playing physical, using his hands a little bit more consistently. So, big picture kind of consistency, but to me, you see that in the finish. He made some huge plays, getting the quarterback out of bounds before first downs, where those extend drives, keep things going. Outside of the box, we know he can run. So he just did a great job because there were some situations that came up that happened to him earlier in the season where maybe he was making some decisions a little bit earlier than he should have, and played with patience and triggered when he needed to, and really made some big plays that kind of got overlooked, I think, on game day.
Jim, you guys have talked at length about how good you think Alexander Smith was playing before he got hurt, and now that he's back. I know it's been a long time, but do you remember when you guys recruited him out of California, what you saw in him and what you thought you liked and the type of player he might eventually become?
To me, the number one thing that I saw on his tape was his versatility. I mean, he had the length, he had the twitch, the speed. You saw him on offense, you saw him on defense, you saw him returning kicks, played physical. Like, it was just a little bit of everything. And when you add the skill set that you saw on tape with who he is from the character standpoint, talk to his parents, you find out the way they're wired, it was just a perfect fit. And it was really awesome to get him on campus. And you never know. You get players from outside of the area and how they're going to respond. But you just kind of saw his eyes light up, and he really understood what Wisconsin was all about, and that's why he didn't take very long on his decision. But yeah, to me, you looked at the versatility, and at the time, as I was just a defensive backs coach, coaching corner, safeties, nickels, everybody, I really needed that. That was a premium for me. So it was fun to see him just get on campus and grow and develop year in and year out. He was behind some great players and just fought through it, just continued to push. I always had somewhat of a role, maybe not the one that he wanted, right? It wasn't as big always as he would have liked, but stuck through it all and just continued to grow, and we're seeing the benefits of that right now.
Jim, Iowa's offense has struggled much of the year. They've had some more success these last 2 weeks. Can you notice any differences between what they were doing earlier in the year and what they've done the last couple of weeks?
I think the last 2 games have by far been the best that they've played. So they're starting to gain confidence, running the ball better. I think you're seeing the timing between that offensive line, the tight ends, the backs, in the run game, they kind of hit their stride at this point. And then with the tight end, he's a difference maker, and they put him all over the place. So I think they've accepted who they are and how they have to win, and they're playing with a lot of confidence and finding ways to move the football. Finding ways to to get some points on the board, and it starts with the run game up front. We have to win the line of scrimmage against these guys. That's the same year in and year out. But yeah, I think they're getting confident kind of at the right time of the season for them.
Mark.
Jim, last game, just due to injury, you had to rely on a lot of your younger defensive linemen. Neal, Barton, McDonald played. Obviously, Thompson continued to play. But looking back at the game, when you watched the film, did anything jump out to you about how those younger guys played? And then part two would be, as far as Thompson goes, kind of what's maybe separated him a little bit from that younger group of guys.
I think with James, you're seeing physical play. He's playing fast. He's playing physical. He's being productive. I think the early season he was kind of feeling things out, and now he's starting to play with so much more confidence, and really fun to watch him. We've been excited about him for a long time, and I think he's just starting to scratch the surface, and you're seeing that personality come out when he's making plays, and I think that whole group feeds off of that. The rest of the young group, they look young, they look inexperienced at times. They're getting us through getting our older group off the field to keep them fresh. They need to continue to improve. There's too much inconsistency with that play, but at the same time, they're doing some things. They're making some plays. Kurt almost got a ball out. Great effort play, chasing from behind, almost punches a ball out. So there's positives in there. Cade's made plays. Just do your job, make the ones you need to make. So there's some positives, some negatives. They need to continue to grow, because as we get down the stretch, we're going to need to continue to use those guys as rotational players, and we can't have big drop-offs when they hit the field. So pleased in some areas on the growth that you're seeing, and then we have to get better. Pass rush is one area we need them to continue to improve to be able to affect the quarterback when they get on the field as well.
Okay.
Jim, kind of homing in on Kurt Neal and just his journey. Obviously, I know he had a knee injury, wasn't able to do teamwork during spring ball. How have you seen him progress and take in spring without being able to do team reps now? And now you're seeing him get on the field. And maybe the second part is, do you foresee, I know Gio's not on the preliminary injury report right now, or status report. Do you foresee Gio playing too, and could Kurt have a bigger role regardless?
Yeah, I think number one for Kurt, it's always a unique situation when you come into a program hurt, right? And just you want to prove yourself, you want to get on the field, you want to just work with the guys, and when you're kind of on the side doing the rehab, I think it gets frustrating for a lot of guys. So we got a lot of conversations with him, just trying to get him to push. Be patient, keep working, you're going to be back. Thought going into the season, it was probably one where you wanted to get him some experience, you wanted to play, but you also probably wanted to redshirt him, especially as things progressed early in the season. So we still have to be smart about that. I believe he's played in 2, right? So at this point of the season, we need to make sure we do right by him and in his situation, but he's growing. He really has come on lately, and I think he's just gaining confidence. He knows what we're asking him to do. He's been around the game planning aspect of the season here for the first half, and he's a physical player that plays hard. And as far as Gio goes, he's been up and down with some injuries, so we know he's going to have to be a factor down the stretch as well. And he's done some good things on the field. He's a physical player. He wants to play physical. He really embraces that role for us, and hopefully we get the health back to where it needs to be, to where he can be that for us on game day.
Jim, you mentioned Iowa's offense, but I don't know how much you've ever looked at Iowa's defense over the years, but it seems like whether their offense is good or struggling, their defense has been a constant. What are some of the factors that, including this year, have allowed that to because they make it so tough for teams to move the ball? Yeah,
a tremendous amount of respect for the way they play defense. It's very different from my philosophy and what we do and how we do it. So anytime you're kind of looking at the complete opposite side of the coin and watching a team just consistently dominate, you gain an appreciation for it. Very physical up front. It's impressive how much they can stop the run and be physical, kind of playing short in the box. That's the impressive thing to me. And they know who they are. They understand their system extremely well, and they're patient. They're going to force you to make plays all day long, run game, pass game. and they have their changeups that they get to, and it always seems like they're doing it on their terms. So I have a great amount of respect for the way they play defense, and probably even more so because it is so different than kind of the way we get it done. But great players, executing their scheme, really understanding the strengths and weaknesses of it, and forcing teams to play consistent for 4 quarters.
Jim, we've seen Graham take a couple of hits this year that he's been able to bounce back from and stay in the game. Just, do you think his toughness may be a little bit of an underrated aspect of his game and how he plays?
I do. We've never questioned his toughness. He's taken some big shots in his career and gotten up, and hopefully we can eliminate the rest of those this season. But that's part of the deal, playing quarterback, and you just want him to grow from all those situations. What hits can be avoided? Which ones can you see and identify and help yourself on? And obviously up front, our O-line, tight ends, backs, like they take a lot of pride in keeping him upright. And when we've been able to do that and keep him comfortable in the pocket, we've had a lot of success throwing the ball. So that's going to be the emphasis going forward. But I do think Graham is extremely tough. He wants to stand in there and deliver the ball even with pressure in his face, and it's fun when he does it. And I think he enjoys that part of playing quarterback.
Bro, I don't know how much you guys kind of check out-of-town sports, but Illinois losing one this past week, how much does that change the way you guys view the game this Saturday and the way if you guys win still in the race for the Big Ten? Huh?
I mean, the biggest thing at this point in the season is we don't control our destiny other than winning, right? And that's the place that we're in. So we got to handle our business. We have to go and win a big game. Keep yourselves in the conversation and give yourself a chance to cause some pressure on these other teams going down the stretch. So it doesn't change in any way how we have to affect our game. You just hope that maybe they're feeling a little bit of pressure and heat if the rest of the conference plays well. And I really don't care if the rest of the conference plays well outside of us. So I'm excited. Our guys are playing well. They're playing off of each other, and it's a huge stretch of games for us, and we just got to take them one game at a time.
Kind of in that same vein, Jim, with another win, you become bowl eligible. Considering a streak, by the way, that dates back to your playing days, obviously. Considering everything that this team has gone through this year, what would it mean to you and the team to go to that bowl game?
And once again, reminder, thanks for letting me know I was the last team not to, but it's a huge accomplishment. One of the biggest goals of the season is to become bowl eligible, right? And then it's winning the Big Ten West, winning the Big Ten, and finding a way either get in that national championship picture or win your bowl game. So it's a huge goal every single season to get bowl eligible. To know you're right on the edge of that, I think guys get excited, and we just got to finish the deal and continue to play good football and stack wins up.
Coach, when Hayden's healthy, how do you think he just impacts your run game, especially on Saturday with an ugly game like that where you just knew you weren't going to be able to throw it too many times? It's a huge role in this offense and how you secure the perimeter of a defense, whether that's blocking defensive linemen, linebackers, DBs. It's a unique skill set to be really good at it, and he embraces that role. I know early in the season he saw himself as a huge passing threat. He had some big plays in the pass game, and hopefully we can get him involved in ways there. But he truly embraces what he has to do and the detail it takes to have success. He said one play you're blocking a 270-pound D lineman, and then the next play you're out on the perimeter blocking a 175-pound corner. Like that's a unique skill set and kind of want to get that done. So having him available, the way he has to communicate with the number of people around him, it's huge. And he does a great job for us, and hopefully as he continues to feel healthy here, he just hits his stride and we continue to run the ball well.
Jim, you mentioned their tight end, and he might not be a guy that's blow you away with speed or size or anything like that, but he just seems to always be open year after year. What does he do well to find those spots in defense to get open and make plays?
I think number one as a coach, what I see, his intelligence must be off the charts because he plays everywhere. He is all over the place in that offense, split out as a wide receiver to the field, to the boundary, in the slot, on the ball, in the core, in the backfield. Like, he's everywhere. So the intelligence he has to understand really their entire scheme and what they're trying to get done, run and pass game, that's number one. He's faster than you want him to be, right? He's more physical than you want him to be. He's kind of the complete tight end, and they've really committed to him being the biggest matchup that they have and the biggest chess piece they have. So it takes a special player to do all of that well, and he does it week in and week out. So really impressed with his knowledge of the game and understanding how he has to win versus a lot of different players.
Jim, if I remember correctly, you used that 3 safety look rule before, correct? Was it last year? Okay.
Yes.
All right. The guy who's down in the box, I know Torchio can play down there and Hunter on Saturday. What does that guy have to be able to do to allow you to use that look? And overall, what does that look give you?
Number one, you have to win the physical matchup still. If you're going to play small in some cases and match right a nickel type of package or a dime package versus an offensive grouping, you have to be able to hold up in the physical battle. So we've been very fortunate to have safeties like Hunter. Last year Trey Blaylock played in that position. Scott Nelson played in that position for us at times. So you have to be able to match the physicality that you'd get out of a bigger body, because if you can do that, then obviously it opens up a whole new world as far as what you can do from a coverage standpoint. So number one, it starts there, and we've recruited safeties that have flexibility. I hit on that with Alex Smith. We recruited players with position flexibility, and the scheme allows us to mix and match pieces. And you have to be smart. You have to understand those responsibilities. And as we've gotten to different things in our nickel package over the years, these safeties are very comfortable playing outside linebacker, playing inside linebacker, playing safety, nickel, kind of all over the field. So it's my job to find roles for those guys to put them in position to have success. And last week it was a really big package for us, especially as we got ahead and they transitioned into having to be a little bit more aggressive on the perimeter. We were able to match the speed and eliminate some plays that to the naked eye wouldn't look like they were very good for the offense, but if we didn't have that package available, it could have been a lot different.
Jim, going back to the defensive line real quick, is there as far as rotation goes for a particular game, is there a certain number of guys you like to use, or you feel it's best in terms of keeping a good rotation? Is there a certain number you like to kind of keep that rotation at?
I would say it's more a flow of the game, right? How long are the series? How much downtime are you having? Like physicality, right? What is the flow of the game going? How much nickel? In our nickel package, we got 2 D linemen on the field, whereas our base, we got 3, right? So just more so, what is the flow of the game? What packages are we needing? That determines a little bit more of the rotations than going into the game with a set amount of, we're going to play 6, we're going to play 5. They got to earn it, just like every position. You have to earn your role. You have to earn the right to get on the field, even more so than the reason to be off the field. And we want guys to go out there and empty the tank. Number one, we want our starters to be able to go out there and really impose their will from a physical standpoint. And sometimes you need some breaks in order to get that done. So there's a balance, but I don't think we ever go into a game saying that we must have X amount of players rotating, or every 2 or 3 series we're going to get you on and off the field. We want to make sure that we're maxing out their impact. The more snaps you're on the field, less pass rush in a lot of cases you're going to get as you get wore down. So it's a balance, but I think in our defense you need to have probably at least 5 available. We need to have a backup nose. We need to have that backup 4-eye in our base. And a lot of times in our nickel, you're kind of living in that 4 to 5 world going into the game where you feel comfortable with the depth.
Got another injury question for you, but I saw Isaiah Mullins not on the preliminary status report as well. And talking about defensive line, where could he be at heading into this week, but also someone like Vito Calvaruso, and I know he's still listed as out, but any updates on Ches Malusi?
Yeah, I think all are going to be game time decisions. We're going to find out what
from a physical standpoint, what they can handle this week and what their role should be on game day. So too early in the week. We're excited that it's trending back to getting on the field sooner than later. A little bit too early to determine whether that's going to be down in Iowa City or not.
Take one more, bro.
Jim, this is more of a big picture question. I'm curious if since you've taken over as Chris McIntosh, ever kind of let you know what he wants to see out of the team and yourself during your time as that interim head coach? And two, how do you feel about the kind of the resume you're putting together, quote unquote?
I think we had some early conversations, and it was probably as much led by me. We got to play good football. He's a football guy. He knows what that means. He knows what it looks like. You have to play hard. You have to play physical. You have to eliminate mistakes and force teams to beat you. And I think we've done a good job of that, right? So we need to continue to win games and execute at a high level. And I think things can take care of themselves after that. But we haven't necessarily had too many conversations because, like I said, from a football standpoint, he gets it. He's been through it. He knows what it looks like. He knows what it feels like. And it's my job to continue to put that on the field or help our guys, have that success on the field. So I'm excited about the way we've been playing. Hopefully we can continue to improve down the stretch, and we're going to need to win these big games.